In this video, I'm gonna show you how we can get unlimited leads by scraping Google Maps and doing it very easily and almost for free. So if you want to know how to get such businesses as plumbers, dentists, HVAC specialists, or many others, you come to the right place, because in this video I'm going to show you my step-by-step process on how you can do that very easily and affordable in a very simple way. So let's get started. For the moment I'm in Google Maps to show you my thought process on how we'll be doing this whole scraping. So for example, now I'm in Austin, Texas area, and if I want to search for dentist, I can insert it, my keyword, and I'll get a bunch of different results. I would like to get this data. It would take hours and hours of manual work that I do not want to do, because, for example, when I press on one of a dentist office in the area, I get their website, I get their number, and all of this is good. But if I would want to get like 500 different dentist offices in this city, it would take too many hours of work. So of course I could do that manually, but it's not the use case I want to show you. That's why we'll be doing that automatically using different tools, and in this case we'll be using Apify. So if you don't know what Apify is, basically it's an AI store that helps us to scrape different data from Instagram to TikTok to Google Maps and many other different tools. So we'll be using one of many scrapers we have specifically for Google Maps scraping. For contacts, we'll be using some additional software like Anymail or any other email finder you might be using, because not many of these businesses insert the email in their Google Maps account, so that's why you'll need to get it from different source. So we will be doing two types of activities. One will be to just basically scrape the website of that particular business to get the email, and if the email wouldn't appear there, we'll be using email finder to get the email from the website domain we are using, and all of this data will be stored in our own database. So in this case I'll be using Airtable, but you could use Google Sheets or any other software as well, and Any10 tool. So it is like a glue that will combine all these different tools into one place. So I'll show you my thought process and step-by-step actions you'll need to take to have this own scraper by the end of this video. From Google Maps we'll go back to the Apify. So apify.com, we'll need to create an account and go to console. Apify is like the most advanced API store you could ever imagine, and there are a bunch of different scrapers, as I already mentioned. And when you go to the store, here you can search for different APIs we'll be using. So in this case we'll be using Google Maps Extractor. So it's also free to try, so you can just select it and you'll go to the screen like this. You can mimic all the activities that you would do in Google Maps, but do that automatically by interacting in this dashboard. So you could also include any search terms, pin any location you want, limit the number of places to extract, to select the language, and many other filters. And in this case we'll be using filters just like I do. So just select any filter you want. So basically the filter will filter all the different businesses you want to scrape. So airports, as you see, allergists, anodizers, I don't even know what it is, and many others. But in this case I will select the dentist, as I already did. You could also filter it according to the rating we have, if we have websites or not. But moving on, I will also select the geolocation I would like to have, and I will go to the geolocation settings, and I already included the required location. So United States as a country, city Austin, and Texas state. So that's where you should also customize it and select all the information you would like to scrape, and that's basically it. Ensure that this is also blank, like search term and location, because we are already doing that in the filter, so you don't need to repeat the same information. And also to limit the number of places where we will be extracting. So in this case I'll limit it to 50, and The only thing I need to do is to press JSON button up here. So you don't see the JSON button is right here. And now you will get wonderful JSON of our query. If you have this whole thing set up, you could just save and start and see how this scraper really works. And as you see, it might take a couple of minutes, but basically now we'll have 50 different dentist offices scraped in our Apify account, and I will, yeah, that's it. And we have always 50 different small businesses that we can target in our campaigns or just reach out offering our services and help. So as you see, we have a place name, the image URL of that place that will be found in Google Maps as well, the rating, the reviews count, the street that we are in, the city, the country code, as well as the website. So we have a bunch of different information that we can use later on, helping building our email list. So that is great. Now the question is how to do that automatically and how to insert this information into our database. So that's why I'm showing you my NA10 automation. When you are in NA10, in this case I'm going to show you the step-by-step process. So that's why I have a blank canvas and show you how you can put all these Apify results into one nicely formatted database with all this information, as well as with email, because as you see we don't have any email here, so we get only the phone number. So that's why we are using this automation to get the email as well. When we are seeing all these results, a good thing is to start thinking about the database we'll be using. In this case, I already created an Airtable where we basically have different data selected. So the title of a business, the street number of that particular business, the neighborhood, the website of that business, the phone number, as well as the email column. That will basically be free for now because we don't get the email from the Apify scraper, but we'll later on fill this information as well as the URL of a search query. So basically when you select this URL, you'll get the exact location of that dentistry in this case by selecting the Google Maps URL. Base structure, and now we can get back to the NA10 start building. We'll go to NA10 tool and we'll start this process from scratch. When you are here, you'll need to start with a trigger, so just select the trigger manually. This is a manual trigger, standard procedure in many automations. Later on, we'll need to have an HTTP request. So basically, HTTP request is a node that helps us to get this work automatically. So when we are in this HTTP request, we'll need to fill the data, to fill the method, the URL, and the body, as well as some headers in some cases. So if you want to do that pretty easily, you can go to the API scraper that we already used, and go to that Google Maps Extractor and select the API and API endpoints. This is a very simple way to get the same data. We are doing it manually in Apify and do that automatically in NA10. So when you're pressing that API, scroll down to Run Actor Synchronously and get dataset items, and just copy paste this URL you are getting, this method, and the long URL with the data to scrape and to integrate this into your own NA10 workflow. So when you're in NA10, select the post method and just copy paste the URL. This URL is semi-private because it contains your API key, so that's why you won't need to authenticate anymore. So it's good because it's a very easy way to do that. And the only thing you'll need to insert is body. When you press on body and select the using JSON, and now we'll need to insert that JSON into this workflow. So when you go back to the Apify scraper, select the JSON and just copy paste this information. We can just copy paste the existing query, this scraper. Of course, you can make it dynamic. So what I mean by dynamic, you could change this by inserting the anytime functions, by using the curly brackets, but for the moment we want to do that manually, so it doesn't matter, because as you see, our search query is the same as we had before. So the dentist, the city is Austin, the country code is United States, and the state is Texas. So now we can get back to this, and if we would test this step, the same process would happen here as we did before with Apify app. The only difference is that when we are doing it here in Anytime, we can manipulate the data. So for example, we can go to the website we are scraping, or get the email of that particular domain that we are having. So that's why it's useful to set this up in the Anytime and not just leave it in Apify. So when I just press test workflow, you will see the results we are getting in Anytime. Couple of minutes and we'll be good to go and see the results. And after one minute or two, we get the results. And if you press on HTTP request, we see that we get the same information that we got in Apify, but just in different formats. So in this case, we get in JSON, and we can see that each URL, the URL of a location of that particular dentistry. I think, yeah, if you scroll up, you'll get the website as well. So if you could just copy paste this URL, we see that we get the same websites we had before. So all of this information, and now we can just pick it, target it, and use it in our own automations later on when we are sending those emails. And so we can set fields and basically to summarize the information we get, because now we are a lot of different information that we really don't need, like price, like category name, like postal code, for example. In this case, I don't need it. Claim this business array is also not needed. The location magnitude is not useful for me here as well. So I will leave this data out of my equation, and I will filter down this data to scrape it in more comfortable way. So now what we'll be doing, we'll be selecting the edit fields tab. So just select fields and fill the data here you want to leave or use. So now I'll do this off camera to make this process faster. Now I did it. So basically what I did is I selected the data I want to use later on. So in this case, I selected the title, the street, the neighborhood, the website, the phone, and URL, and just copy pasted this from the HTTP request, the Apify request we got. So that was an easy. The only more difficult array I encountered was domain. So I wanted to get the domain out of this. As you see, we get only the website out of the scraper, and the website URL is pretty long one, and it contains not only the domain but more additional information, and that we don't need because we couldn't use that in our email scrapers. So that's why I used some function that basically extract the domain from the URL. So I said json.website.extract domain. This is a function from NA10, so we could use it as well. Of course, you don't need to copy paste all of this because all the templates and workflows will be down below in the resource section. So if you want to copy paste this and just plug and play it, you can do that as well. You don't need to follow the process all along. But if you want, you can just learn some new stuff and do that with me. So now the only thing needed is the email. So basically the only task we need to make is to get the email, because we already got all the important information we might ever need. And to get the email, I'll suggest you to use two different options. So the first option will be to use the website scraper, and the other function will be to use Anymail Finder. So Anymail Finder is an paid API that basically helps you to find and verify emails, where you can just insert the website domain and get all the emails from that particular domain. You could also select search by decision maker, select search by LinkedIn or whatever. Here we'll be using only website domain. But before that, and because it's a paid API, I want to show you more cost-efficient way of scraping. And what I mean by that, so yeah, when we are in, I can press this node right here. I will pin the data for the moment. Sometimes you'll find the website just like highlandwestdentalcare.com, where by scrolling down into this website, you'll find the email of this particular website. So basically now you can just take this email and put it into your own database and contact this business automatically. And there are different ways of how you can get this email. The simplest way is to insert this website as HTML and to find the email address that will match your criteria. So you could do that with some coding or just with a basic help of AI. So if you go to the Any10, now we can start our email scraping process. And at start we'll be using loop node. So loop node will be useful because we'll have this scraping happening as a loop, because we now want to take one website only and go through the loop and get the email out of it one by one and not from many. That's why we'll be using a loop. We will need to replace this node. So now we'll be using another node, HTTP node. So just find it by here, by selecting this. And now we'll need to insert the website URL to scrape that website and get that email as already mentioned. Insert the website. So yeah, if we press the execute previous node, we get the website URL, and we basically just need to insert this website right here, and we'll be good to go when we just press test step. Now we get all this different HTML, and basically we can feed this HTML and ask for ChatGPT to find the email, because yeah, the email is somewhere in between this bunch of information. It's pretty hard to find it by hand. Of course, AI is almost free right now. You can very easily do that with the help of ChatGPT. Feed this into ChatGPT and ask for it to find the email. Sometimes not every website will have an email, but some of it will do. So that's why we can just rename this function to later on reference it in more clear way. So we could say scrape website. We could do the same with Apify scraper, so we could just say Google Maps scraper. It will be more easy to reference later on. And now we can go back to the ChatGPT node. So just select OpenAI, message a model. In this case, I'm using 4.0 mini, so I'll just select it. And I already wrote some simple prompts, so I'll just copy paste it and explain it step by step. It's a pretty easy one, so I could just show you. I said look at this website content and extract only the email. I can contact this business. In your output, provide only the email and nothing else. Ideally, this email should be of business owner, so if you have 2 or more options, try for most authoritative one. If you don't find any email output null, and exemplary output of yours, name at examplewebsite.com, and website you should analyze. I just inserted the data from the scrape website node we have right here. And we just test the step. We can see how this function will work. Maybe I think this website doesn't have any email in their HTML. That's why the ChatGPT output is null. But in some cases there are some emails, so that's why we'll be using the second API as well. So now what we'll be doing is to connecting our own Airtable base and uploading this information from Any10 automation to Airtable, and we'll need to get this data and that we got in Any10 and insert it into the Airtable. How can we do that? With Airtable node. So we just select the Airtable and create a record. So we'll creating a record based on information we got. The only thing we'll need to do is to select the Airtable we already have. So in this case I have Google Maps Scraper. My table is called data, so I select it, and I can just insert all of this data that we got. So I just map out all these values, so the title, the street, and I select loop over items node. That's why I'll be using it. The neighborhood, website, the phone number, and the URL, as well as the email, and the email will be from the OpenAI node. So if OpenAI will find the email, it will output here. If not, the output will be null. And if I just test it, we can get back to the Airtable, and we'll see that on the same process once again. Airtable just inserted this. And yeah, now we have this automation set up. It can automatically update into our own Airtable. Now what thing we need is to make sure that we can get as many emails as we can from that particular websites we are scraping. That's why I want to introduce to the if node. Basically we now should logically separate two different scenarios. So in one scenario, OpenAI will get the email. That's why we want to output that result in our Airtable just right here. And if the output is null, so basically if the email is not found, we'll be using our Anymail finder. So I'll select the if node, and we'll select if the content of ChatGPT, copy paste that value. So if the OpenAI message which contains, we want to select contains null, so the answer it got. If it's true, we'll use a different API call to Anymail. If it's false, so we'll loop over process once again. But if it's true, we use a different API call, and as already mentioned, we'll be using Anymail finder. So as I said, Anymail finder is an API that helps you to find those emails. Free account on this tool as well, so just go to the app. You'll need to connect your own credit card, but you'll have a free trial, so if you can cancel it before as well. And when you are here, just select the API, create and generate your API key. So basically you'll need to press the button right here. When you are generated your key, go to the documentation, select the find all emails at a company. And here, once again, you'll get the URL and post method, as well as the classical command. So a call command is basically a cheat code that we can copy paste this call command, insert it into our own HTTP request, and it will be pretty much good to go. Copy paste it, go to the anytime scenario, and select one more HTTP request, and we can just copy paste the curl command right here, copy paste it and import, and now all of the modification is already set according to our needs. We don't need to copy paste the URL, the post method, as well as authorization. So that's why I chose it, because it's very easy to authorize. Now we just need to copy paste the API key. So get back to that dashboard and copy paste the API key you generated. Make sure to leave the space between the bearer and your API key. And the last thing you'll need to do is to include the domain of a particular website. So basically we'll need to select that particular domain we already have. So I'll just execute previous nodes. We'll go to the loop over items. I don't see it. It doesn't populate right here, but basically we could just do it manually by selecting the expression and write the $ node over items, include it into the quotes, .json, .domain, and if you'll test this, we should get the request to the Anymail finders, and we'll see if we can get that particular domain from a website or not. Yeah, we still didn't get any results. So that particular website, the riverrockdentalfamily.com, maybe don't have any email associated in any databases that these APIs might contact them with. So basically, maybe we're using a Gmail account and we don't just showcase it. That's why this example is pretty hard one, but basically, as I already show you, you can expect around 50 to 60% of chances to get those particular emails. And now, yeah, we basically finished all our scenario. Now the only thing we'll need to think about is when we're getting that Anymail scraper. We can rename it as well. When we're getting the results from the Anymail, we want to update our Airtable with the information we got from the Anymail. So in this case, we'll select the add node and search for Airtable. But in this case, we won't create a record, but an update a record. So we choose update record. Once more time, we'll select that particular base and table. So Google Maps Scraper and data. We'll match the data with the ID and we'll include that particular Airtable ID into this step, because we want to match that particular rows according to the each ID we have. We won't use the title, the street, the neighborhood, the website, the phone, because we already do have it, but the email is the one we will need to insert. And I already wrote you some little function that we'll need to use in this Anymail finder. That is an expression with a JSON.stringify function. So basically, when we're getting a bunch of different emails, it will go into the array. And now we want to stringify it into a string, that all of these different emails will be populated into one particular row. So that's why we are using this function, and as well adding the JSON.results emails. So that is the function we need. I just tested before, so you could just also copy paste it or just use the template down below. Now we can just wrap up this automation. Get back to the node, loop over item. We can push back a bit, and now we are good to go. I already deleted my whole Airtable, so you can see this in real time. So I'll just go back to NA10, and now we can test how this Anymail finder works, and press test workflow, and all of this operation will continue. So we'll see how many emails we get from Anymail finder as well as from OpenAI. This process won't take any too long. As you see, we get some emails here as well. So yeah, we get one email here as well. So I can even edit this field into long text. So if you get more emails, it will be easier to look for. As I already mentioned, about 50 to 60% of it will be generated, but this whole process will look like this. Of course, it always differs from industry to industry, so dentist is eager to give you a phone number but not email, so that's why it's a bit more difficult case for me to try out. But in general, this automation really works with all the small and medium businesses that you might have. And yeah, I think we can wrap this up. I won't continue for many long because I don't want to waste all my credits. I hope you are also trying this up and you found some value in this simple but yet very effective and cost-efficient setup on Google Maps scraping. I hope you liked this tutorial. I'll do more advanced ones as well in the future, and of course you'll find the template down below in my YouTube description, so just feel free to download it as well. And if you liked my videos, if you found this valuable, feel free to like and subscribe, and see you next time.